All right, YouTube, we're back at it again today. I didn't work a whole lot this weekend. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of need a little bit of a break. It is sunny out, first off. It is Tuesday night after work. I don't know, it's like 5 o'clock. You guys can see it is gorgeous out. I really don't want to work, but I really need to record some stuff for you guys to see, so we're gonna work a little bit. It is a little bit cloudy, but way nice. It's, I don't know, probably 65, 70 degrees out. I found some projects. After I built those axle housings, I ran into some, not really issues, just stuff that I wanted to address, I guess. You guys probably didn't see it, but there's my plas. I had my two tables separated and I was cutting. There's some, that's some of the slag that comes from when you cut with the plasma cutter. That was all over here. All over here. Essentially it looked just like this where I've been grinding. I had the same problem over there. So I got my axle housings done, and then I kind of realized this plas is making a lot of sparks, a lot of extra stuff I don't want to sweep up. So I came up with a plan, and I think this is what I'm gonna do. I got these drums. I literally am gonna make a water-filled plasma table, manual plasma cutter table. I'm gonna take this drum, I'm gonna cut it off right here. So if you can see, there's a little bit of an indent right there. I'm gonna cut right in the middle of that indent. What I'm hoping it'll do, because I measured this, it's like 23 inches across, which should be the outside of this rib. So if I cut it off right in the low side of this rib, and I take this top, this is like 12 inches, and I flip this thing over. So this will now sit here. So my game plan is, when I flip that, you guys know what a 55-gallon drum is. It's got a lip right here. So when I flip this, it should be able to sit on that. I'm gonna probably put some, I'm probably gonna roll a ring to go around this so it sits inside there. I might have to put some supports across the inside of this when I cut it. But what it'll allow me to do is have 12 inches where I can fill this with water. I won't put 12 inches of water in there. I'll put probably 4 to 6 inches of water in it, because this will essentially be up. Then I'm gonna make some grates going across here. I'll roll a ring. My slats will sit inside there so I can set my metal on here. When I plas, my sparks will go right into the water. I'll roll another ring down here. I'll put 4 casters on this thing so I can push it around my shop. But what it'll do is eliminate a lot of me having to sweep. And the spark factor, I don't want to catch my shop on fire, so this should help my problem. And not that I've caught my shop on fire, but it will, I don't want to catch my shop on fire. And it'll keep a lot of my mess down. I mean, that right there, that whole pile is just from those axles, those truss in these housings. Like, it's a lot. I mean, that's all paper, everything, because I kind of just cut it and let it fall to the ground because I knew I was going to sweep. But even still, I mean, if I move these, you can see there's all that garbage down there, all under here. If I'm cutting over this barrel that's filled with water, it'll keep my sparks down, it'll keep my mess down. And when I do it, when I cut this off here, I'm not going to make this attach permanently to here. I'm going to flip it, and hopefully I can make it to where it'll just sit in this groove. What are you doing, black dog? Sorry, my dog ran in the shop. I should be able to just make it sit in there, so after I use it, I can dump the water out, and it's not going to rust these drums out that bad. These are barrels. This stuff, you guys are going to see me cut this outside. This is called Hangstaford. It's a coolant that you use for metal cutting. It is totally okay for the environment. The Hangstaford guy came to our shop and showed us, like, he literally tasted this stuff. So anything that I get out on the ground is not going to hurt the environment, won't hurt animals, nothing. He physically drank this stuff. So it seems to be okay, I'm gonna cut this. These are actually empty barrels. I'm gonna use this as my mobile plas manual cutting, and I think I'm gonna build either double barrel wood stove out of this or 2 singles. I haven't decided yet. I just got them because, you know, they were free. Yeah, perks of my job, I guess. So we'll see what I do with those 2. I just got them, like I said, because they were free and I couldn't pass them up. So normally we crush them and then recycle them, but the company I work for also allows people to take them if they need them. A lot of people use them just as burn barrels. They'll cut the tops out of them, just throw stuff in there and use them as burn barrels. I'm gonna try to turn this into 1 wood stove, or probably give it to my son for his shop, because he's trying to get his shop up and kind of heated. So I'll probably give it to him, or maybe my brother-in-law, I don't know. I couldn't let them go to waste. Like, if they're willing to let me have them, I'm gonna take them. So we're gonna work on this one. I'm gonna try to cut this barrel in half. I'm gonna kick the door open. I'm gonna cut this outside, because as I cut through this is it's not oil based, but it's gonna smoke when I cut this thing, just because it's painted on the outside. There is a little bit of liquid, I'm sure, on the inside of this. Like, our company tries to suck these things pretty clean, but we will see how much is left in there once I start cutting the top of this off. I'm gonna mark it. That's a hornet. We might have to kill a hornet first. I already killed one today. Yeah, he totally flew in here and then poof. So I'm gonna cut this. I'll probably let my daughter record me cutting it open so you guys can kind of see how this thing smokes. There's probably gonna be a little bit of fluid left in it. I'll probably try to soak it up the best I can with towels, but like I said, this stuff shouldn't hurt the environment. It should be animal friendly. Hanksford guy pretty much tasted it. I wouldn't say he drank a full glass of it, but he put it in his mouth when he was telling us about it. So yeah, we're gonna get these things cut apart. This one cut apart. We're gonna work on this one, then I'm gonna come back and do some with these 2. I'll show you guys that too. All right, you guys, I'm gonna cut this barrel. You're gonna probably see some smoke and stuff. This stuff's not flammable, so should be fine. I did take the caps out just in case, but I know it's not flammable, so it should be fine. I just took a marker, Sharpie, and I just right down that groove, just rolled the barrel as I went. So I'm gonna cut it with my cutoff wheel.
Ready.
Yeah, you guys, you can see what my work does. They wash these barrels out. Normally this stuff's like a blue-green color, but they actually wash these barrels out, so that's even better for me. I thought there was more than that in it. And this is all water-soluble stuff. So I'm hoping this will fit right over the top of it.
Perfect.
Oh, look at that. It's almost perfect. Yeah, so now you guys can see what I'm gonna do. Come here, cut. So I took my barrel, I cut it off, and then I flipped this side. So this should sit pretty good over the top of this. Then what I'm going to do is make a grate. I'll put my plugs back in because they both have seals on them. And I'm going to make grading this way. I'm going to fill this with water so as I'm plasma cutting, all my sparks go down inside of here. Yeah, that's going to be sweet. All right, guys. So, saw me cut my barrel in half. There's my top. I flipped this is the bottom part. I just flipped it over. I was originally, imagine this, talking about rolling rings. 1, 2, and then 3 for my top. What I'm gonna do is I have this square tube laying around, rectangle tube. This is pretty thick right here, even though it's like, you know, thin sheet metal kind of folded together and like pressed to make this barrel. I'm actually gonna take this piece, I'm gonna weld it to here. Then I'm gonna cut this and do an X, essentially that way. And then what that's gonna allow me to do is tie this angle iron into here where I can mount casters out here, because this will be all the way out. That'll be essentially out there. So I'm gonna put this angle iron on the end of it, and I'm gonna mount my caster wheels to that. So I'll be able to have 4 casters on this. So essentially this will be an X on the bottom, because you know I'm gonna lose 3.5, whatever this is, 4 inches. That'll give me enough to get to these edges. I can cut these off square, mount my angle iron that way, then I can drill my holes through here. So I'll have 4 wheels on the bottom, all out of scrap I had just laying around. That'll save me from having to buy this ring to make this, because I was gonna make a ring and make it all fancy, but I got that. So that's what we're gonna do. It's also gonna help me because it's gonna lift this barrel up a little bit, because when you're standing next to a barrel, it's a little low. I don't want to be like bent over. Like when I'm plasma, I don't want to be bent over because my back's a little rough a lot of days. So the higher I can get it, the more I can stand up straight next to that barrel, the better off I'm gonna be. So we're gonna go that route because I got it. It'll allow me to order less material, so it'll save me some money. I'm trying to do this on the cheap just to help myself out more than anything. Yeah, so that's where we're at with that. I'm gonna do all this out of 1/8 is what I think I'm gonna do. 1/8 wall. It'll be 2-inch. The good thing about doing 2-inch on this top, when I make my grating, I'll be able to do 2-inch here. Then I'll be able to weld my 1-inch strapping, because I'm gonna do 1" by 1/8 going this way to make my slats that way, which will sit on top of here, and it'll hold the roundness of this barrel when I put it on here. I'm contemplating leaving one corner out so I can use it as a quench tank if I have some that I've ground and just needs to be quenched, or something catches on fire, I can throw it in there. Because I don't plan on emptying this very often, because good thing about this barrel is it is actually lined. It's got this like special paint in it because it was holding liquid, so it should work very well for this. It should never rust out. Honestly, I should be able to leave the water in here for years, so that'll be pretty awesome. And I guess the one thing about it too is if this top ever rusts out, this piece here comes off, and the piece, I'll have to probably show you that later. I was gonna weld my little lips to here to hook to my other barrel down, but I might do it the other way, because if this ever rusts out, I can just get another one of these barrels and literally cut this 12 inches off and just put everything. I'll pull this grate off, drop this barrel right on, put my grate right on my new piece of barrel. So I might do it the opposite direction, because I wanted to kind of weld to this because it's a couple layers, so it could take the heat a little bit better. And literally I'm going to be tacking this. It's going to be like welding sheet metal, like if you're fixing a panel on a car. But we'll see. I might actually weld it to that. We'll see what happens when I get there. But that's the general idea. You guys kind of hopefully are understanding where I'm going with this. We'll see what happens. You guys know how I am. We'll see what happens. I'm kind of making this up as I go. I've seen a couple things. I came up with this idea, and I kind of thought I had saw it somewhere before, And I started looking through a lot of guys I watch on YouTube. I watched this guy, I think his name's Matt. It has a YouTube channel called BleepinJeeps. I watched him and he actually ordered this. And I wish I could think of the name of the company. I'll try to look it up and maybe put a link to it. But he ordered one of these from a company that actually builds these and they sell them. They're honestly, they're more than I want to spend on it, I guess is what I could say. They're very reasonably priced. I kind of looked at them, I'm like, but I wanted to build one to just show you guys, like, you can actually build this stuff pretty cheap if you have rimlets or, you know, can get these barrels for free. The barrels are kind of the expensive part to me and trying to find them. The rest of it, you could probably scrounge just about out of anything. I mean, you could literally, if you had even that part of a barrel, you could build one of these and put it on, you know, if you had a table or even a plastic table would probably work because all of your heat's going into the water. Even if you had a rolly cart like this, that would totally work. I'm just doing mine separate because I use those carts for other stuff too. So, and I want everything in my shop on wheels. I mean, you can pretty much see my metal roll, it's on wheels. My bead roll's on wheels. Everything I own is on wheels so I can move it around. I don't want to be stuck to one spot when I'm doing something. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. I'll show you guys when I get. All right, guys. Wanted to show you where I'm at kind of. So I took those 2 pieces of scrap. They're like 3 by 1.5 inches. I took my one piece and I cut it off the length. You guys saw the scrap piece I had kind of had angles. I just squared them off on both sides. There was just barely enough of this to get across. Good thing this was 3 inches wide. It made up the little bit that I was short. I pretty much tacked this piece on, went back through, tacked these on. I used my level across there, across the top to hold this piece as flat as I could to here so that this is pretty flat. I just put some weld on this so you might see a little bit of a gap. It's sitting on my weld, so but it's pretty darn level. Hopefully you can see the level. It's pretty darn level considering it's sitting on the cut that I did down here where I cut the top 12 inches off. So I did put that on there. I welded all these seams up. It was tacked on the outside, then I went back through and welded these. I didn't worry about welding the bottom. Like, this thing isn't going to be holding a ton of weight. But I did put a small weld here. This barrel is was full of Hanksford. It's like a coolant for CNC machines. It is kind of embedded in this. I ground this paint off of here, and even trying to just do tack welds on just the barrel itself. This is where the seam comes together on the barrel from here to here. Even just doing these tack welds right here, it kind of boogered my welds in a couple spots. Like I said, it's not a Picasso, let's put it that way. It's not meant to be a Picasso, it's just to keep my sparks and my mess in this barrel eventually. I do want to show you this though. I got these super sweet things. They're like they're smaller than a rollerblade wheel. The width on a rollerblade wheel is about like this, but these are just like little mini versions of them. They do make bigger versions of this exact same caster. Literally, I got these at Harbor Freight, you guys. They were like $2, $3, something like that. I'm gonna use these. I originally told you guys I was gonna use this angle iron. I'm debating at this point. I was gonna mount the angle iron on the ends of these to cap this material off. So it'd be like that, and then I could mount my wheel to those. I'm contemplating leaving this open and just mounting my wheel like that, because I can still get to the nut. I can bolt those right there, and I'll have 4 of these, one there, 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 and there, so I can roll this thing around my shop. I'm debating whether I want to cap these with the angle iron. You can kind of see, like, I did a fast weld across here because it was trying to booger on me. You can see the coolant coming out in this barrel. It is in the seam here. It must have been there a while. It's kind of, as soon as you get it hot, you can hear it kind of sizzling and popping, kind of like you're cooking bacon or something. yeah, so I don't know how much I really want to weld on this barrel. I'm not super excited about it. Like I said, it is painted. It's lined with some kind of, I don't know, non-corrosive lining. So I don't really know what this is made of. I'm not super concerned about it. I kind of keep my head back when I'm welding. I got my door open, so it's kind of going outside. It's going out through my peak in my shop, so I just don't know if I want to put this on here. I don't know if it's worth the effort to move that wheel out that far when I can just mount them right there. Not cap this. I can save that piece of scrap metal for something else. I don't know. We'll see where I go. I might go, my son and his girlfriend are up here, my wife. I might go ask everybody what they think and let them choose, or I might just make an executive decision and do what I want to do. We'll see. I'll get back to you guys, show you what I decide to do. You'll see when I have this thing flip back over. I'm sure that you'll know what I did at that point. All right, you guys. This is what I did. I'm going to show you what I did to make up my mind. So I took my barrel. I drilled the holes in it. Because my thought was, well, even if I drill the holes and put the wheels in and I hate it and I want to put the angle iron on the end, I can just undo these and weld the holes up, leave the holes. You'll never see them. I'm going to be the only one. And everybody on YouTube knows that they're in there. Once I got them in there, I was afraid that this was going to be maybe a little top heavy. Once I got them in there, I was like, dude, I actually kind of like them like this because it keeps the caster even at its highest point. It's still not that far out from the barrel. If I put that angle iron out here, it's going to catch on everything. So I've done this in the past before. Like my casters here, they're out past the end of my bead roller. They're kind of a trip hazard. I trip on those things all the time. Whenever I move it out, I catch it on stuff. So I decided I'm going to leave it like this. It's not bad. Like I said, this thing is, it's pretty good. Like I can't imagine it's going to tip over. But now that I got it that way, you guys can actually start to see what I'm going to do. So this is the top 12 inches off of that barrel. I cut it off. And what I did, I flipped it over. So now the lid is down. So normally that lid would be up. I flipped it down. The good thing about it is that this lip right here fits over this ring. Because this is where the barrel is actually, they got essentially like a bead rolled in it. And it fits over it very well. I'm not going to say it's like the most perfect thing in the world, but it's pretty good. Let me set you up there and show you. Looking for the seam. Like I said, it's not 100% perfect, but it's pretty darn close. So what that gave me, now I have a basin for water to go in. These plugs already have seals on them, and more than likely I'm gonna take one of them and make it a drain. So it's either gonna be a permanent drain or I'll be able to pull that plug. I think I'm gonna try it with just pulling the plug before I actually make it a permanent drain. But now you guys can see what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna fill this with water. I'm gonna put a grate over this so I can throw my metal on here, plaz, and the sparks will land in the water. All my mess will land in this water. When it starts getting yucky, I can just pour it out. What do you guys want? Whatever. Let me finish recording. Hold on, let me deal with these kids and I'll get back to you guys. All right, you guys. Sorry my kids came out. I had to stop recording for a minute, see what they needed. They're going to read a book, so I'll be going in shortly with them and seeing what we're gonna read tonight. But I did want to show you. So, showed you guys, I flipped that, got it up there. Here's what I'm gonna do to help align this. So this is a piece of like 1 inch by 8. I rolled it on my metal roll over there. It was just a scrap piece I had from a neighbor's. They got a go-kart. I think I told you guys this before. Came with a bunch of this, so I just rolled it to kind of get an idea. I'm essentially gonna buy 2-inch of this, and I'm gonna roll it a full ring. I'm gonna weld it onto that lip. So as I put this down over this barrel, it just helps line up on here, on this little groove, because it's pretty much just a chamfer going into a chamfer. It doesn't, a chamfer or this bead going into the top of that drum essentially. So I'm gonna try to put this on here. I'll tack it around here. I'm not gonna weld this thing all the way out. Welding on these barrels, as I've already found out, is not real fun. Now it kicks up a bunch of garbage that's been in these barrels for a while. But I'm gonna get this at 2-inch. This is 1-inch, so it's gonna be, you know, obviously double that. So we're gonna be down in there. So we're gonna be all the way past this essentially bead roll in this barrel. And then when I, underneath of this, when I take that off, I am gonna probably put some kind of stiffeners in here maybe. More so when I set that lid on there and it kind of catches on this lip here, that I have something that'll catch the bottom of that if I get just a little cattywampus. With the edges on that piece, it should help it align a lot easier. And I want this thing to be removable, and the only reason I'm thinking about making it removable right now is so I can lift it off of here, and I'm not trying to move this whole barrel around to drain the water out of this top. I should be able to lift this pretty easy with water in it and drain it. If it starts to get too heavy as I get older or something, I'll just take that plug out and I'll put some pipe in there, and I'll actually cut a hole through the side of this barrel, and then I can just roll it wherever and crack a valve and it'll drain that out. It'll just be a permanent drain. And I might do that this time. Right now, I don't know. We're gonna try it without for now, just because I want to kind of get this thing done and using it after building those axles, those housings which are now gone because he picked them up tonight. And we got it paid, so that's good. Yeah, we'll like I said, if it becomes a problem, I'll deal with it then. I'm gonna try it this way for now. But after doing those axles, I knew I just needed something to catch a lot of this garbage that's coming off my Plaz. It made a heck of a mess. I mean, that's why that Jeep's all covered in crap. My Tundra's all covered in it. Just because when you're cutting, it kind of goes everywhere. Hopefully this water bath kind of catch tray will solve a lot of my issues in that aspect. I'm hoping. We'll see. This is trial and error. I've never really done this, so we're going to try to help ourselves out here. Save my lungs, maybe. Or at least keep the sparks down and some mess down. Yeah, so I do got to get metal for this. I haven't ordered my metal for my ring because I'm going to have a ring around, the bottom of this top. And then there'll be a ring around the top up here with a bunch of grates in it. There's slats that I don't know if I'm going to make them removable or not. This first one, I might just weld them out, make this whole grill come on and off of here. Just because I want to get this thing going and try it. It'll be like kind of a prototype and see if it works good. And then from there I can start modifying it. I know for sure I'm going to make on this lid a spot for my ground, because there's going to be water in here. Electricity, water, not a great thing. But I am going to put a ground up here on my grate that goes over the top. So as I lay my metal on here, it's already going to be grounded to my metal, and I should be able to cut here pretty good. Yeah, we'll see how this goes. Like I said, this is the first time I'm doing it, so could turn out really cool, or I could find a bunch of problems and we're going to rework. So that's kind of the way it goes with fabrication, to me at least. Like, I try stuff and I'm like, oh, that sucked, and I redo it and I make it better. But right now I think we got a pretty good start. Me and my wife are going out of town this weekend. It was our anniversary on Monday, so we're going to go have a little getaway and go try out a new restaurant up in actually Ulm. We're going to go check that out. Then we're going to stay in Great Falls a couple days and then come home. My parents are watching our kids. Brother-in-law's got our dog, one of them. So, yeah, we're going to go do that. But I am going to get metal while we're in Great Falls so they don't have to deliver it. I might order it and just have them deliver it next Wednesday. I'm not going to have this done this weekend. It is like Thursday night after work, if you guys are curious. I was just trying to record a little bit of this because we're going to be gone all weekend, or most of the weekend. Yeah. So we got that, and I got another little project over here. Our dog ripped all of our curtains off our walls, so I'm gonna make new curtain rods. That's a piece of solid 3/4 And I got a couple other little ideas that I'm going to make for the hangers and stuff. That'll be probably future video. You guys will see me making those. I don't know how fancy I'm going to get with it. I just know I need it dog proof because he pretty much ripped all the blinds off our house. It's pretty neat. Or curtains, not really blinds, curtains. Yeah, so I'll show you guys once I get my metal and I get this thing a little further. I'm going to tighten those wheels up. I just got them like kind of finger tight in there. I'm tighten the wheels up. I'll get that set back on there, kind of get a game plan of how much metal I'm going to need to order up in Great Falls. I'm going to be up there. I kind of want to go up there, meet these guys, put a face to the name. They bring me metal all the time. I just kind of want them to know who I am, and I kind of want to meet them too, so they can kind of see what I'm doing. The place I go through is called Steels Etc. in Great Falls. They're awesome. So delivered to my house. I think it's every Wednesday. I order on Tuesdays and they deliver on Wednesdays. So yeah, pretty cool dudes. I'm gonna go check them out. I might bring my camera and kind of show you guys where I order from, because I've honestly never seen it either. I call them, they bring it. So it's a good deal. So maybe I'll show you guys a little bit of that when I go up there, if I remember to bring my camera. Hopefully I have it. Yeah. So we'll get back to this when we get back to it, guys. It's Thursday night after work. Finally made it through the work week. Pretty excited about that, so I can get back on stuff I actually really want to do. So we're back on this. This is the plasma table that I'm making out of this 55-gallon drum. I got it cut apart here. I got my ring rolled and I got... Ow! Sorry, that really hurt my freaking ankle. Wow. Yeah, I'm getting old apparently. So I did roll this ring on here. I got it tapped on there and just tacked. Let me set you down. I'll kind of show you what this thing's gonna do for me. It's pretty snug on there. It fits pretty well. Maybe a little too well. Yeah, it's pretty tight. I might have to do something about that. I'm not quite sure if I'm gonna or not. We'll see. But it is pretty snug. Main reason is it's coming down on this lip right here. This is not tapered back very much. I haven't cleaned up any of the burr where I cut it off and stuff. But you can see this is 2" by 8. I've rolled this on my metal roll. Cut it right here. I got a little seam to weld together right there. And then I just barely tacked it on here just to see if this is gonna work. I ground all the paint off my barrel. I tried to center that through that ring as best I could, all the way around, so it's kind of even. But yeah, that's essentially gave me my lip. So this part of the barrel right here goes down inside of the lip of the drum. This is just guiding it, getting it close so that it can actually fit in there pretty good. It is tight. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty tight. I don't know how much I'm gonna take this on and off. Like I said, one of these might become a permanent drain. This might be sitting on there permanently, and I might plow a hole through the side of here and run a actual piece of pipe out with a petcock out here so I can drain this thing. We'll see though. We're gonna see how this works just the way it is, and then go from there. So I got that ring on there. I'm gonna weld this for sure, and I'm just gonna do a few spots, like maybe one here, one on the other side, probably in 4 spots, just to hold that ring onto that barrel. Welding these barrels is not super fun, I'm not gonna lie. There's paint and we're holding coolant, so it's kind of a... Ow. It had a liquid in it of coolant, this stuff called Hanksford, so it's not the funnest thing in the world to weld. You kind of weld it, it smokes. Like, I've ground the paint off, but the coolant is like, you know, saturated this barrel a little bit, so doesn't make the greatest for welding in the world, but it's gonna make a great plasma table when I'm done. So I'll get this kind of welded out, tacked together, welded out. I'm not welding it all the way out, just, you know, 1" spots, 4 spots all the way around the barrel. Put that on there. I do got the rest of my metal here, so I'm gonna roll one more ring. I'm gonna try to record it so you guys can see my metal roll in action. It's pretty awesome. A big old giant metal roll. It is flipping cool. I love this thing. It works very well. So it's all 3-phase. I had to get a phase converter for it to run off my normal 220. So I kicked that bad boy on. You can hear it humming now. And then that actually allows these bottom rolls to move, or bottom dies on my roll. It's got forward and reverse, so it works very well. The good thing about it is I just rolled the first ring, so I kind of got this set. As long as I can get the metal to go in between these two rolls, I can just roll this one time and it'll be done. So if not, it has these here. I'll back these off. That essentially lifts this top roll. I can get my metal in and then slowly work back into it. So I'm gonna get that welded on there, and then I'm gonna try to set you guys up on a stand so you can see this thing rolling. It's pretty neat. I like it a lot. It's probably one of my better pieces of equipment. I didn't spend a whole lot of money on it. I bet if you tried to buy one like this, it'd be like 5-10 grand, and I didn't pay anywhere close to that. A buddy at work, him and his dad made it back when he was younger. He had a weld shop like up in somewhere north. I'm not sure, Fort Peck area, I think it was. But I bought it from him. Yeah, he brought it down for me, and then I had to figure out this phase converter thing because my old house, I didn't have 3-phase 220, and I currently do not have it out here either. I probably could pull it from way over there, but I don't want to. So this works great. Phase converters, I think they're like, you can get them from like anywhere, depending on which ones you need. Like this is a 5-horse 20 amp. And I think I paid like $300 for it. So I actually bought one prior to this and it didn't work. The guy was, yeah, it was a nightmare, but I got that one. Anderson phase converters. If you guys are interested, that's the information for it. Anderson phase converters. They're really good. Like I talked to them on the phone when I bought this thing. They shipped it right to my house. I don't even think they charged me shipping actually. And it's not light, it's pretty heavy. So there's information if you guys are curious about phase converters. So for 3-phase, I'm not even sure what the motor on this thing is. That's the actual motor that runs this thing, and it is huge and heavy, like super heavy. We've got big giant cogs in here that is ran by a chain that turns these bottom rolls off that green motor there. That's a monster too. All right. Enough bullshitting about my metal roll. I'll get this other ring, I'll get that welded on, and then I'll roll the other ring, kind of show you guys what I'm doing there. All right, guys, I'm going to roll the other ring for the top side of that plas table. I just kind of wanted to show you guys how this thing works. It's pretty awesome. There she goes. I had to back it up a little bit because there was too much downward tension on it. We're making circles. Not easy. Then I just crank these down. We'll go again. Literally, it takes like rolling rings like seconds. Like you could get like a steel wheel and like forming around a steel wheel, but this thing's just awesome. We just keep lowering these, running it through, and it just keeps making a smaller and smaller circle. You can see we're almost touching now. See that, guys? Now it's touching. So you got about, on this piece, it's about 2.5, 3 inches of just flat where it didn't actually roll. And that's just the gap between the two bottom rolls. So these two bottom rolls here. And when you're done rolling, you just put this top one up over the top, and then it comes out. It's pretty sweet. A lot of people have slip rolls, but nobody has one like that. That bad boy is freaking fantabulous. It freaking will roll literally the width of those plates. It'll do 1/2-inch plate that wide. And I think that thing's like 30 inches or more. Now I'm curious. Can't remember. It's been a while since I actually measured it. All right, let's see. It's actually about 38, 37 inches wide. It'll roll 1/2-inch plate that wide. It's pretty awesome. These are actually solid, like 4-inch solid diameter rolls that the guy bought it from, turned on his lathe. So it's wicked awesome. Yeah, I think you guys might have seen the 3/4 inch blocks that I made for the front springs on Tad's Bronco. I rolled them on that. That was solid 3/4, and it rolled it. It was awesome. It took a little bit just because it would kind of go through, and when it come through the other side, there was so much gap in between the bottom 2 rolls that it would kind of chunk like that, but it went through it and it rolled it. So turned out pretty awesome. Tad's coils are working awesome, dude. Yeah, there's some of that 3/4 solid. You can see that's the piece that I had left over. That's just the end of it. You can see where it was rolling it, and then this is a flat. That is one thing I will tell you guys. If you get a slip roll, you do get a little bit of this. Let's see if I can find some. So if you look at this, this is a pretty good circle. The only problem you get is when you get right to the end. See, from there to here, it's flat. There's actually a bend right there. Same with this piece. From there to there, there's a bend right there. And the only reason that's happening is because you have a roll here and a roll here. You have that gap, and your top roll's pushing down, so you always get a little bit of flat. Literally, the quickest way to deal with it is you over-roll this, so it's like overlapping like that. Then you cut in between your marks there. So that'll get rid of this flat, get rid of this flat. It'll give you a perfect spot on both sides where these can come together. Especially like on this. This is only 1/8 inch, so it's pretty easy to manipulate. You know, you could easily bend this around a metal ring, a wood form. I just got that thing, so I'm going to use it because it's way easier than having to build something. It's already there. But when you start getting into like thicker stuff, like I said, that thing will do 1/2-inch plate. It'll do 3/4 inch by 3/4 inch square. 3/4. It does almost any kind of solid round. When you start getting to tubing, it has a tendency to crush it. So yeah, it's awesome. I love it. I'm gonna get this one cut. So this is my upper ring. This one's gonna go up here on the top. Then I'm gonna put my grate inside of this. Essentially what's gonna happen too is this is 2-inch. That's 2-inch wide. And then I got this other stick of 1-inch. So I'm gonna put that 1-inch, that's gonna be my grating coming across this way to make the top of my table so my sparks can go through it. And I'm gonna put it on the top. I'll have, so it'll be 1-inch down, or 1-inch of metal, and then a gap underneath. What that'll allow it to do is it'll give it a 1-inch overhang on my barrel, and then I'll have all my slats 1-inch up here. That'll create my flat to sit on the top of this edge of this barrel. So it'll sit right there. Should work out pretty good. I was originally gonna make this thing like super fancy, you guys. Not gonna lie, I had all sorts of great ideas, but then I was like, literally, I'm gonna be plazzing on this thing, and it's gonna ruin all these fins anyways. Someday, I'm gonna go the simple route, you guys. I need to get this thing done so I can start using it. I'm gonna probably just tack weld my grate going this way across on top and bottom. Maybe a little extra weld on the top. As they wear out, I can just cut my tacks and put new ones in. I was gonna make all these removable and make it all fancy and all these slots. It's not worth it to me. Not to me, at least. I can cut these out and put new ones in once I get this ring done way quicker than I don't know. It just seems like a waste of time to me. These are gonna probably last a long, long time. For the amount of times that I actually have to use my plaz over this thing. You know, with that Bronco, it would have got some use, but I could have done a lot of things to make these things last a little longer, and I'm gonna do that. I don't want to waste the time to make all this stuff removable and cut all these little notches, and yeah, it just seems pointless to me. So essentially it's gonna look like the top of a grill, and it's gonna be made out of that 1 inch by 8. Going this way, I'll get this ring cut, fit over that, and then I'll put all those in. I'll flip this upside down. Sorry, flip this upside down, put all my rungs in this way, then I'll flip that back over on top of my barrel, and then I'll have my plas table. I am gonna put some handles up here so I can pull this thing off of my base, and I'm more than likely going to put a big giant rock in the bottom of the base. The only reason I'm doing that is because I'm gonna have water up here. I'm gonna have probably 6 to 8 inches of water in here. I do not want this thing any more top heavy than it already is. Now that I've actually tightened the wheels down, it rolls pretty easy. It's really, actually really flat. It was kind of jiggling before because the wheels weren't tight. But I'm gonna do handles so I can lift this off. We're gonna try that for a while. All right, you guys. I had to go and get my camera. We're still on this. I'll show you what I'm doing. I'm trying to make this easy on myself in the future. Kind of one of the reasons I got a router. I'm gonna make a jig to build that top, to lay all the pieces going this way in so I can easily weld this up. I've actually programmed it and it's cutting right now, but I'll show you guys what it's doing. So essentially, this is what I'm building. Turn my vacuum off so it's not so loud. We'll go over to this side. I'll kind of show you what it's going to end up looking like. Whoops, that was the wrong way. Alright, so that's essentially what it's going to look like. So all these little gray, dark gray, those are 1/4 inch deep and they're 1/8 inch wide because all my steel's 1/8 inch. And this white out here on the outside circle, that's the outside diameter of that drum. I think it's like 22 and a half, I think, or 22 and 5/8, something like that. So it'll cut all these grooves so I can drop all my 1/8 inch pieces in. My circle will sit around the outside of this. So essentially I'm gonna drop my circle down over the top of this. I'm gonna shim this up so it's 1.25 inches off the ground. So I'll be able to drop this over, drop all my pieces into this jig, and they'll line up with the outside of this circle. You can see I got this little box right here. I'm not gonna have these slats in here. I just ran the program and copied it. It's just easier to cut them in there, and then put this square in. So this is going to be open right here in my grating. So if I drop anything through here, I can reach in and get it. Also, if I have something else that I'm working on that I need to quench, I can reach down in there, quench it, because it's going to kind of do a multi-duty purpose for me in my shop. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm working at. I'll show you this jig when I start putting it together. Like I said, I am going to have to space it up probably another 1.25 inches. And I probably won't do the full diameter. I'll probably just cut a square, piece of 1/2 inch, piece of 1/4, nail those together to space this up so I can drop all my pieces in here and line up with the top. Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at. As this thing's cutting really slow. I've never used an 1/8 inch end mill. I got this thing cranked all the way up and it's cutting really slow. But here's a piece of that outside that I cut off of my ring. So that's 1/8 inch by 2. It's going to be 8 by 1. But it'll give you an idea. So as it's done, I'll be able to, you can see how I can drop that in there. I'll be able to drop all my pieces in, all these grooves, and have that ring so it'll center everything. It should work out pretty good. It's mainly for in the future. So as all these little slats here start wearing out, getting cut up and just beat up, I can cut all of them out of my circle, throw my circle back over this jig, and drop all my pieces back in and have a brand new top for this thing. That's the main reason I'm making this. And it'll just make it easier for me to put this thing together, weld it out. Everything will be square and true because I know that thing cuts square and true. But it is going to take a while. There's a lot of little lines. Each one of these is spaced out an inch. So every inch there'll be a little bar. Yeah, should work out pretty good. I'll get back to you guys when this is all done cutting all the lines and the circle and the little square cut out. So it should work really well for what I'm doing. All right, everyone. I've been kind of trying to figure out a little design here. So I think this is what I'm going to do. So this is like some, I think it's 5/16 round that I had laying around. I rolled it on my metal roll. I feel like everything's got to be kind of, whoa, sorry, that was way off. Everything's got to be kind of round. So this 5/16 round, I rolled it. I'm going to use these as handles. I'm going to mount them over here somewhere. This will be so I can lift this lid off, my grating off the top, fill water, dump the water, whatever. I'm going to have to put some kind of handles down here too, so I can lift this whole thing off when it's filled with water. We're going to see how heavy that is. Like I said, I told you guys before, I might pull one of these two drains and actually make a permanent drain that comes out here with like a petcock on it, so I can open it up and just drain it. But for right now, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put these two out here. I'll probably mount them at the bottom at a little bit of an angle, just for some design to make it kind of look cool. It's just enough to get my hands in there so I can pull this lid off. So I got those made up while my router's up there whittling away at my jig. Once I get my jig made, I can set it inside this ring and I can start measuring for all my pieces, get all those cut. It's going to be that 1 inch right there, 1 inch by 8. Then I can start getting this thing put together. I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to try to figure out some kind of handles down here. I don't have a whole lot of round stuff left. I've kind of used it for a lot of other jobs. I might use this, I got this rebar, I might use that too. But I just got some scrap stuff laying around here. I don't know, maybe I can figure out, oh, I think I might have got an idea. I might use that. I kind of wanted everything to be kind of round, but maybe I'll make these handles straight. I'll make some tabs that come off of here and just have some straight handles. We'll see. I'll play around with that. I'll show you guys kind of what I get when I get there. So, but yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing. Just trying to do what I can right now. I am gonna cut a piece of this angle iron. Maybe I won't. Yeah, I'm gonna cut a little piece of angle iron and probably stick it like that for my ground clamp, so I can just throw my clamp on my plas right here and do whatever cutting I need. I don't know. You know what? I might not. I might just use my handle for my ground clamp. I think that's what I'm gonna do. Because my problem is when I'm up against this thing and I'm plasing, I don't want my stomach or anything here to like get caught. Because it's like right at the right height for me to like not have to bend over. I've been really focusing on trying to get ergo stuff for me, just because my back is pretty crappy. My back's always going out. So the better I can get it where I'm in a standing position, not hunched over all the time, the better off I'm gonna be physically. So I think I'm just gonna use my handles. I'm gonna try to keep them out of the way. That square pocket will be right here. This will be my front, and then my handles will be over on the side. So when I'm cutting, my handles are kind of out of the way. That'll give me a spot with my handle to put my ground clamp for my plas. So maybe I won't put the angle iron. Like I said, I was thinking about doing that, something like this to put my ground on, but I don't want it to be in my way. We'll see. I'll get the handles once I get all my bars in here, get my handles on. I'll try that ground clamp on my handle, see if I like it. You know, the other thing I can always do too is just stick it in one of the grates. I can just throw it up on top too. It'll make it ground either way. I just kind of like that permanent connection where it's actually clamped to something, because I have a tendency to knock it off all the time. So I'm gonna walk up here, see where my jig's at. I think we got a ways to go still, but we're getting closer. Yeah. So we got quite a few lines, and I'm not sure what my CNC does to my camera, but every time you get it close to it, I don't know if there's magnets in that thing or whatever it's putting off. It don't like my camera. So if you guys are watching my videos and you wonder why there's some blurred in my camera, it's that CNC. It's putting something off when I get my camera close to it, and it kind of wigs out the video a little bit. Yeah, me and my son are trying to figure out how to smooth it out. I think he knows how. I think it has to do something with the software that he buys or could buy. We just don't want to spend the money on the software. It's like, yeah, the amount of times that we have to fix that's not super enough for us to justify buying the software yet. So yeah, I'll show you guys once that gets done. We'll put it in here. I'll get all my pieces cut for that. Yeah, we're getting close. We're gonna get this done today. Like I said, I'm making barrel stoves out of those. I still got my wife's curtain rod, and I picked up 2 more jobs this week alone. I got a trailer over here I gotta do some work on. This is another guy I work with. His four-wheeler doesn't fit through the side ramps. So you guys will be seeing this maybe next. I don't know. I got another job that's a little hotter than this one. But these ramps, this is a ramp that comes out. His four-wheeler doesn't fit in between this opening when you pull the ramps out, so I gotta lengthen the ramps, and I'm gonna have to cut either this side or probably that side, move everything over. This trailer's had a little bit of damage, but you can see the fenders are tied to that. I'm gonna weld those in solid so that he has something to tie those fenders to when he replaces them, because they are mangled. So these will become permanent rails on the outside. Lengthen these. So yeah, I got that. Then I got my concrete guys still have their big truck here. They have another truck that I've done a lot of other work on. I built a bumper for it on the back of they have like a Tommy lift on the back of this truck. It's like a Cummins diesel, like an older one, probably like a 2098, somewhere in there. But they want a headache rack built on it, and they're pretty hot to get it done, so I may have to squeeze them in ahead of the trailer. We'll see. They said it's at the mechanic right now. When it gets out of the mechanic, it's going to be here, so like next week. We'll see how far I get this weekend. I really want to get this done just because it'll help me out after doing those axles. I was pretty spent, like bent over, and just a mess that I made. So we'll get this barrel stove done. And I really want to get my wife's curtain rods done. She's been bugging me about them. Not really bugging me, just I feel like I need to get them done. So I may work on those next. Get those at least chopped to lengths, drilled and tapped. Then we'll probably move on to that trailer. I might have to work on it a little bit during the week, try to get it done so I can be ready for my concrete guys next weekend, hopefully. I got to order metal. I got to see what they want, figure out a design, order the metal. So got a little design time that's gonna take me to figure out how to build it, what I want to build it out of. I don't know if they want it pipe or square tube or what, so we'll see where that goes, and I'll get back to you guys with this thing here in a minute. All right, you guys, this is what I'm doing. So these are the end pieces that came off of rolling these rings. So like I told you before, every time it comes through those dies, it leaves a flat, but it's just got a little roll right here. So what I did, I took my other pieces, I put them in my press, and I pressed them like that. I'm gonna do the same to these two. These are just the end pieces. And what'll end up happening here, oh boy, this is gonna be difficult. I'm gonna mount those like that. And then in between those, I'm gonna cut this piece of tube and I'm gonna mount them right there. So that'll be my lower handle. It's just a piece of like, I don't know, 3/4 tube, maybe half, nah, it's probably 1/2 inch. But yeah, that'll go right in between there. Then I'm gonna actually notch this kind of that way. Then that'll be my handle on the side to lift this up. That's for the lower section, and like I said, I got these for the upper section. They'll go up here. Yeah, just all out of scrap. Like I said, this was the leftovers from rolling those rings. So I got those two done. I'm gonna go get these two bent up right now. I better take one of these as a jig. So I know you guys have seen this in another video. It's pretty awesome. It works great for this kind of stuff. Line my line up. So I gotta go a little bit more. Pretty close. This bottom one has a little more roll in it from coming off that ring. I still gotta obviously cut it off the length, but looks like we're good. We'll get the other one done. Ooh, that one's spot on. Haha. Sweet. Alrighty. I'm still waiting for my jig to get finished. That's why I'm trying to build all these handles and stuff right now. If I have everything ready, I'm gonna wait to cut this angle on this because I actually want to try this out. I'm gonna use my plas. I'm gonna fill that with water. Once I get all that done, then I'll cut these out so that I can mount them right there. Yeah, that way I get to actually try this thing instead of just doing it on some scrap metal. I can actually do it on a project. So, all right, you guys, just finished cutting. Now you can kind of see what I'm doing. So I'll be able to set this in here. This outside circle will hold my circle remotely round as I'm putting these in, because you know when you're rolling stuff in metal, it's never perfect. It's really close. But now you can see I got all my little slits. So now I just got to measure these and I'll drop them in. Then I can just tack weld them all in. Also, you can see where this is, the boxes here. I left these lines in case I ever wanted to go full grate, but I am gonna stop it right here. It's gonna come across, stop it right here. So I have a spot to reach in if I drop something, grab my metal out of there. Also a spot if I have something I need to quench, I can stick it in there, because this thing is gonna be pulling double duty for me for essentially a quench tank and for my plasma cutter. I do gotta make another circle. You can see this is only 1/2 inch and I'm 1/4 inch in. So I'm actually really only 3/4 of an inch up this. So I need to raise this some. So I'm gonna have to build another circle underneath this to lift it up so that everything's spaced correctly when I put my 1 inch piece in here. If I did my math right, I think I need another 1/2 inch and a 1/4 inch piece. That should raise it. So 1/2 and 1/4, so you're 3/4 there. Then I got another 1/4 inch in here, so that should get me right to 1 inch once I raise this up. So then that means when I lay my pieces in here, they should be level with the top and be sitting in all these little grooves. It should be pretty close. We're gonna find out. I'm gonna go cut another circle, actually 2 more, one out of 1/4, one out of 1/2. I'm gonna nail those together and put it under this, and then now I have a permanent jig here now. Whenever this one wears out, I'll cut all the centers out, throw this back in my circle, cut new pieces, and we're good to go again. So now you guys know why I spent the extra time to do that. So in the future, I don't have to dink around with this. I don't have to measure any of these. Like, it's there. I just drop them in and we're going again. I'll show you when I get the other circles cut out and get maybe a couple of these slats cut and put in there. They're tight. That jig is really tight for, I mean, it's 1/8 inch end mill, 1/8 inch steel. It's pretty spot on. It should hold them pretty perpendicular, straight up and down. That's the other thing with this jig being 1/4 inch deep. When I drop these in, there won't be any of this side to side because it's set, because they're snug. So I'll probably actually have to tap this a little bit to get it out. All right, you guys, I've been working on this a little bit. It's actually working really awesome. It is tight though. Like I kind of told you guys, I'll probably have to beat this jig out of there. But this is what I got going on. So you can see this is why I want to do this. It is so perfect. Like, everything is spot on. They are tight going in, so I'm having to use my dead blow and kind of beat on them, because you know, metal going into wood, there's tolerances on the metal. The end mill, well, I know the end mill cut good, but the wood may have, you know, flaked off, or you know, there's just some movement and stuff. But it is looking pretty cool. I didn't order enough of this, so I'm kind of currently out. I have these 2 little pieces right here, but so I'm gonna have to go get some more. I'm gonna call my local supply place and see how much they're gonna rip me off. I'm gonna see if they'll match my place in Great Falls, because I know they're gonna be more here in town. But I do need quite a bit more here. I still got all these little guys here. one there, 2 there, and 3 more over here. But you can see it turned out pretty good. There's 2 pieces of 1/2 inch MDF and a piece of 1/4 on the bottom. That makes this perfectly level to these edges. So once I get this all in here, I should be able to just come through and tack these tops, pop this thing off, and then tack the bottoms, because I don't want this thing permanent. And the good thing about it is I'll be able to take my grinder someday and just come back through and cut all these, cut all the bottoms, put new ones in, throw my jig back in, put all new ones back in. This makes this very repeatable and easy to do. So you guys can see I didn't put anything here. This is that hole I was talking about. This will be completely open, so I can stick my hand in here if I have to and grab whatever I need to. Yeah, this is gonna be awesome. The other good thing I wanted to tell you about it too is, since this is a perfect circle, since I cut this on my router, as I'm doing this, so I put the middle one in, and then this one and this one are the exact same length. So I only have to measure once, and then I pound it in, because these are both the same length. So you're only measuring once, you're getting both sides. So it makes your process of cutting a lot quicker, because you can measure, cut 2, put 1 there, 1 here, and it's good to go. Yeah, it's gonna be sweet though. Look at how perfect that thing is. I mean, they are just spot on. Oh, I'm super excited. This thing's gonna be rocking. I will try to go get metal, get this finished and tacked together. I don't know if I'll get metal today. We'll see. We'll see how much my local place wants to charge me. If it's way more, I'm gonna wait till Wednesday and I'll move on to something else, because I ain't gonna overpay for metal, especially when it's so expensive right now. I called my local place. I asked them if they'd match Steels Etc. in Great Falls, and they said they would. I was surprised. The only thing they said they wouldn't do is deliver it, and I'm like, that's fine, as long as you match the price. My wife's uptown, she's gonna pick it up. So I should be able to finish all this grading that I'm missing here, get this thing tacked together. So I moved on to the other part. Wanted to show you, so this is the handle design I came up with. Hopefully you can see that. So that's the handle design I came up with. It's just a piece of 3/4 tube. I think it's 3/4 tube. And then these are the end plates that came off my ring. And I just kind of cut an angle on them. Let me see if I can get it that way, yeah. Cut a little angle on them. They got a little bend, so you got a little bit of grip in between there. I did that so you can do, like I said, I need some weight in the bottom of this barrel, because it's snug. But that way the top comes off. So now I can go dump my water, put new water in it. Good tight fit. Yeah, it's gonna work good. Still waiting for my wife to get back from other metal, but I did get those handles on. Both sides. Yeah, there's just enough room. You can see if I'm standing here, it's not gonna be like, it's gonna be close to my hip, but I don't think I'll ever get that close, because I drink some beer and my belly's kind of big. Not really, but, well, I do drink a lot of beer, but my belly's really not that big. But they're low profile enough to where I'm not gonna be whacking my leg on them, like as I'm walking by, I'm not gonna be hitting them, because they're pretty low profile. Yeah, they turned out pretty cool though. I like them. Like I said, that's pretty tight, that barrel, because I didn't want this thing to be floppy as I'm using it. I mean, you can see I can push on that barrel and that thing don't move. This way it's good and tight. It ain't going anywhere. If I need to get it off there, more than likely I'll have somebody help me dump this. Right now, like, I'm gonna try it this way and see how I like it. If it starts to become a problem, because I think I'm either gonna figure out some kind of, like, I don't want the water to freeze in the winter, I guess is what I'm getting at. So I might put some kind of antifreeze or something in here. I gotta do a little research on that. I'm not 100% sure there yet. But during the winter, it's gonna be an issue, because you guys all know there's nothing up there. So stuff does freeze out here in the middle of winter. I take my pressure washer in the house. Everything else seems to kind of be all right out here. Someday we'll have this and it'll be permanently heated by that. That does work. I just don't have the gas valve in the tank and all that for it, but it does work. Someday that will be hooked up and we'll have permanent heat out here. I got that for free from the tire company I used to work at. So Phil was nice enough to give that to me, because he didn't want it anymore. So I am gonna build a little bit of a deflector right here. I'm guessing a lot of people might comment on how this is straight. So when I got this thing and I was researching them, the place I went to here in town says you don't mount them at a 45. Everybody says, oh, mount them at a 45. Multiple places that I've went to that sell these kind of heaters, they say you mount them straight with the direction of your door, because what it does, it cycles the heat this way and you recoup your heat quicker with it facing the direction opposite of the door. So facing this way away from my main garage door. When this opens in the winter, it will recycle the heat quicker this way than it will at a 45, is what they told me, because you get a real cold dead space right here. This way it'll blow and recycle the heat. So everyone that's gonna make comments about that, I'm just gonna knock it down right now. This is what I've been told from multiple different heater places about these. You don't mount them at a 45, it's with the door all the time. It just cycles your heat quicker and you recoup that heat quicker and you're not spending more money. So that's why that thing's straight. So if anyone's got a comment, I'm gonna kill it right now, because that's why it's like that. Yeah, but that'll heat our shop someday. That way maybe my CNC will stay decent in the winter. Then in the summer, I'm gonna have to figure something else out. I'm contemplating putting a swamp cooler in that back window there. So I'm heated and cooled out here year round. That's a ways down the road though. Ceiling first and insulation. But yeah, I'll get back to you guys. I'm still waiting. My wife's uptown still. I think most of you guys know we live quite a ways out of town. So for me to drive into town to get this little bit of metal when she's already there, it's not worth the gas money for me. But she's there, so she's gonna pick it up for me. Thank God my wife is awesome like that. Yeah, she's picking up a whole bunch of stuff for me. So I can stay on this stuff. I got that to do. I'm probably gonna go measure for her curtain rods right now. Start getting those cut, drilled and tapped while I'm waiting for the metal. No, you know what? I might start figuring out a way to tack these onto the upper lid, because these are my upper handles. So that's my grating. They're gonna mount somewhere in there, so I can pull this top lid off if I ever need to. So as you can see, this thing is like gonna be totally able to be taken apart. It's gonna be pretty awesome. I'm pretty excited about this. I'm hoping it'll knock down my smoke more than anything in the shop. So it's kind of where we're at. I'll show you when I get back to that. I'll probably get that thing all the way tacked out and welded out, handles on it, and show you how it's gonna fit on here. This is actually a pretty good fit. It's a little looser than this down here, because I have a feeling I'm gonna need to be taking this off more than I'm gonna need to pull this off. Yeah, pretty cool though. I hope you guys are into this as much as I am. This is gonna be a pretty cool little thing I built that's gonna be very useful for me. All right, everybody. We got this finished up. It is flipping hot today. You can see I got my door open, my windows open. I am like boiling. I did get this done. I did want to tell you my jig worked great. This piece popped out right there. I just nailed it back on and I lost that little piece, or little chunks when I was popping this thing out. It was tight in here. Everything was very tight. I did want to show you. So that's how I got my thickness. So it's 2 pieces a 1/2 inch. I just nailed this together. That's a piece of 1/4 inch, like plywood. That's how I got my thickness that I needed. So from there, so we got a 1/2, 3/4, and then another 1/4 gave me 1 inch, because these are 1/4 inch deep. That allowed those to sit down in there. But I did get it done. So there's my lower handles where that separates. I still got to put my rocks in here. I still got to put my water in the top. But you can see all I did, I just tacked here and I tacked on the bottom of each one of these 1 inch. What that allowed that to do is catch the barrel right there, so it sits down on there. It ain't going anywhere. You can see these move just a little bit. I'm not really too concerned about it, because like I'm just setting stuff on here, cutting it to catch all my slag. I left my hole here so I can reach in, get whatever I want, or if I need to dunk something, I can reach in there and use this as my dunk tank too. Got my little handles on the side here, so I can lift this thing off of here, fill it with water, whatever. But like I said, I was telling you guys earlier, this is a little tight. I'd rather it be a little snug and kind of have to fight it getting it off of there, than it falling off when I'm cutting. But I mean, it comes off pretty good. Going back on, just because of the shape of the barrel and the distortion of the barrel, you kind of got to push a little on the side. But I mean, It's not horrible. It could be a heck of a lot worse. But yeah, that's gonna be pretty awesome right there, because then I can take that off. Then I got my other handles here. Like I said, I still gotta put some weight in the bottom of this. But then that comes off, I can dump my water, replace it, put that back on, and then put this back on. Pretty neat. It's worked pretty good. I will show you the back side of this too, how I got my lip. So since this is 2" and this is only inch, my jig over there filled up this gap, allowed it to essentially make this lip here so that my barrel sits down inside of here and then rests on all these 1" pieces. And you can see I just tacked all these, so I'd come back through with my grinder, knock all these out, cut new ones, weld them back in. A lot of them are replaceable. I can't imagine I'm ever gonna wear this thing out, but that's why I built the jig over there. So if it ever does wear out, I just cut new pieces, throw my jig back on, I'm back in business. I mean, it's a matter of a couple hours maybe to cut those and replace them all. But yeah, it's gonna work slick. I'm gonna go find some rocks, get some weight in the bottom of this. I'm gonna fill this thing with water. Maybe I'll kind of do some little test cuts with my plas once I get everything kind of set up. But I think it's gonna work pretty good for, you know, just, I think I did have to buy one more piece of that 1". So I'm like, maybe 60 bucks in this thing. So not too bad. I got the barrel for free and I had to buy the wheels and a little bit of metal. I had some of the metal, so yeah, not too bad. Less than 100 bucks, I would say. It's probably less than 75 bucks. Even if you had to buy the barrel, you know, it's gonna work great. It's a simple DIY project, something that anybody could use at home if they have a plasma cutter. So, all right, you guys, found a few big rocks. They're pretty freaking heavy. I almost need one more. I might go try to find one more. Because this thing, like I said, it is tight fitting on there. Takes a lot, and I'm thinking with water in that, it might be a 2-man job. We'll see. Like I said, I can't imagine I'm ever going to take this thing off of there. But if I ever needed to, you know, I want to be able to. So I'm going to probably find one more rock to put right there. But I did want to show you, I'm putting some pretty substantial weight. Nope, I'm not going to put any more because it's already heavy. We're going to leave it like that. Those are two big rocks. It does help pulling it on and off. I tried it a few times. It's just snug. I think over the years that'll loosen up just a little bit, just from wearing. Yeah, so we're gonna throw that back on there. I'm gonna make sure these plugs are tight here and here. And I'm gonna fill this thing with some water. We're gonna try it out. All right, here we go. We're filling with water. I hope this really helps with my problem. I know it'll help with my mess more than anything. So, it's gonna be pretty neat. We'll get about 5 or 6 inches of water in there, and then I'll try to set you guys up and I'll try to cut on this. We'll see if we got any kind of noticeable difference. I know we'll have a noticeable difference in like the mess that it makes on the floor. I won't end up with a giant pile of crap like that. But we'll see if it helps with the smoke. I think it will. I hope it will. Because that's like one of my bigger problems is all the smoke it makes in here. My wife hates it, so yeah, we'll see. Okay. I've encountered at least one problem. My little teeny tiny wheels down there, they're not strong enough. It's too much weight, I already bent one. So we're gonna have to address that. And I think I already put too much water in it. I said I was gonna put like 5 or 6 inches of water. I put way more than that. I stopped washing the hose. I lost track, so when I pushed it over here, the wheel kind of bent and I splashed out some. But we were gonna try this. Other than the wheels and a little too much water, it is a tad bit heavy. I might take, like I said, there's too much water in it, so that's a little bit of a problem. So let me see if I can get you to stand up here somewhere. It's a little tall. Whoop. All right. Give this a shot and see if it at least does what I want it to. The wheels I can fix later. think that works pretty darn good. Quench? Oh, I'm glad I put that there. That'll be handy for me. Not really that I wouldn't quench something and use it, but if you're grinding a bolt or something and it's hot, it'd be nice. It's nice to just have that. I can just dunk it in there. I think that's working pretty good. It's actually keeping a lot of the smoke down to it. I don't know, I'll have to watch a video back, see how much smoke's actually coming off there, but from what I can tell, I think it's kind of holding the smoke down inside of here. But yeah, you can see it's catching all my debris down in there, in the water. Yeah, even in the bottom of the tank, you can see it down in there. I don't know if you guys can, but I can. Yeah, neato. That's gonna be pretty freaking slick. I'm gonna use the hell out of that thing. Awesome. Well, we're gonna call it a wrap on that one, you guys. Make sure you like, subscribe. I got more videos coming. I got a lot of projects right now. I got curtain rods, trailer. I got my concrete guys are bringing another truck out. So I got to do that. I'm thinking about framing up some concrete pads out in my property for camper parking. So I'm gonna have to frame that up too. Still got waiting for wood to come down so I can finish that too. My back patio area. But I think we're gonna call it a wrap on this one, you guys. Like, subscribe, make sure you hit the bell so you guys get notifications. We'll catch you guys on the next one.